Hello, good morning. In today's class, we are discussing some MCQs on surveying. Okay. First question, the process of measuring depth below the water surface is called. The process of measuring the depth below the water surface is called. Answer B, sounding. Okay. Here some other options are there, chaining, leveling and traversing. What is chaining? Chaining is the process of measuring horizontal distances using chain or tape. It is mainly doing in land. Okay. And next one is sounding. Okay. What is sounding? It is the process of measuring the depth of water below the surface. Okay. Often we use echo sounder or sonar for sound measurements. Okay. And next one is leveling. Leveling involves determining the height difference between 2 points. Okay. Above the ground level. Okay. Mainly we are using leveling above the ground level, not underwater. Okay. Next one is traversing. Traversing is used for establishing control points. Okay. Control points, or we are using traversing for plotting. Okay. By measuring the angles in survey. Okay. And this one is also not used for depth measurement. Okay. And our answer is option B, sounding. Which survey is used for establishing mean sea level? Okay, if you see the options, first one is chain surveying. Chain surveying is used mainly for small areas. Okay, our area is small, we use to chain survey. Okay, and we mainly use this chain survey for ground based measurements. Okay, mainly chains and tapes are used for chain survey. Okay, and it is not used for, or it is not suitable for determining sea level. So option A is not the answer. Okay. Next one is hydrographic survey. Okay, hydrographic survey. In this type of survey, it focuses on bodies in water. Okay, and it used to measure and describe features like depth, tides, and seabed contours, etc. Okay, and it is critical for establishing mean sea level. Okay, if we need to measure the mean sea level, we need to do hydrographic survey. So our answer is option B. And next one is compass survey. Okay, compass surveying is used mainly for plotting an area by measuring directions and bearings. Okay, directions and bearings using compass. Okay, and it is generally used for land navigation. Okay, and it does not help us in measuring the sea level. So compass survey is not the answer. Next one is tachyometric survey. Okay, tachyometric surveying is useful for quick distance measurement. Okay, and we can measure the elevation, horizontal distance, etc. Okay, especially we use this tachyometric survey in difficult terrains. Okay, difficult terrains. Okay, and it can be used for, we can't use this for large scale sea level determination. Okay, so we can't use tachyometric survey. All these three are doing in the ground. Okay, and only hydrographic survey is used in water. So our answer is option B, hydrographic survey. Next question, what is the use of fathometer? Options are ocean leveling, ranging, ocean sounding and wind measuring. What is ocean leveling? We used to measure the level difference or sea level measurement, typically using tide gauges, or we used to do hydrographic survey for ocean leveling. Okay, and next one is ocean sounding. This is the answer. Fathometer is used to measure ocean sounding. Okay, and or we use fathometer in ocean sounding. Okay, and what is fathometer? Fathometer is an echo sounding device. It is an echo sounding device. Okay, and we use this instrument to measure the depth of water under a vessel. Okay, we will be having a vessel and we used to use fathometer to measure the depth of water under a vessel. It sends a sound pulse, okay, downward. It sends a sound pulse downward and calculate the depth based on the time it takes for the echo to return. Okay, some echo will be returning and the time taken by the echo to return. Okay, we measure that time and based on that time we measure the distance. Okay, and this fathometer is very useful in hydrographic survey and safe navigation. Okay, so our answer is option B. Then what is ranging? Ranging is the process of establishing intermediate points along a straight line between two stations. Okay, between two stations to facilitate accurate distance measurement. So ranging is not the answer. Okay, next one is wind measuring. What are the instruments used for wind measuring? For wind measuring, we use mainly anemometer, not fathometer. Okay, so use of fathometer is ocean sounding. Our answer is option B. Next question. Which is the most accurate method of locating the sounding? Options: range and one angle from the shore, cross rope, range and time intervals, two angles from the shore. Okay, four methods are given. These are the figures: location by range and one angle from shore, location by cross rope, location by range and time interval, location by two angle from shore. Okay, and location by cross rope is the most accurate method. This is the most accurate method and option B is our answer. Okay, in this method, location by cross rope method, it is mainly used for narrow river, narrow lakes and for harbors. Okay, a single wire or rope is stretched between two supports at points A and B. Okay, we are having two points A and B. A rope is stretched between these points A and B. Okay, on the opposite bank, the A and B, these A and B's are on the opposite bank of the river. Okay, and this AB portion is divided into number of segments. Okay, and some tags are attached at the division points. Here you can see some tags. Okay, and the distance are marked from a reference tag. Some reference tags are given. Zero tag, a reference tag is there, and from that these tags distances are marked. Okay, and this one is called, the reference tag is called zero mark. Okay, and the zero mark is transferred to the ground point by using a plumb bob, and the boat is towed between this point A to B, and in between these points below that one tag, that point is A1, we used to take the soundings at A1, A2, A3, A4 and A5. Okay, and similarly other points are also located. This is location by cross rope method. And next method is location by range and time interval. Here range lines are marked as shown. These are the range lines. Okay, and the sounding boat is rowed from the shore near point A. Okay, sounding boat starts from this point A and it attains a constant speed. Okay, and the speed of boat, and from the speed of boat and the distance A1, we used to take the soundings at points A1, A2 and A3, and by knowing the speed of boat and time interval we can calculate the distances. Okay, next method is location by range and one angle from shore. This one. Okay, here there are four lines A, B and C, D. A, B, A dash, B, B dash, C, C dash and D, D dash. Four lines are there. First, initially we used to set up the theodolite at station B. Okay, and we used to locate points on the line A dash. Okay, and initially the theodolite is pointed along B dash A dash or A dash B dash, and that distance is x1, and we used to take soundings at points a1, a2, a3, and the corresponding angles are alpha 1, alpha 2 and alpha 3. Okay, like that in the seconds, for taking the second set of instrument, we used to shift our theodolite from B to C. Okay, and again calculate the soundings at B1, B2 and B3, and we can measure the angles here. Okay, so like that we used to take the sounding values. Okay, and next method is location by two angle from shore. Okay, and this method is used when it is not possible to keep our sounding board on a fixed range line. We can keep the sounding board on a fixed range line, then we use this angle to angle from shore method. Okay, here we need two theodolites. Okay, two theodolites. The instruments are set up at station A and station B on the shore. Okay, and the location of sounding board is given as P1. Okay, and we need to find this location. Okay, and horizontal angles are measured as alpha 1 and alpha 2 using the theodolite. Okay, and we also note the time at which the sounding is taken. Okay, and the distance between these theodolite stations is taken as d, and we can calculate the coordinates of these points P1 by simple mathematical calculation. So the most accurate method of locating soundings is cross-rope method. This is the most accurate method. Clear? The tangential method of tachyometry is options: faster than Stadia-Hare method, slower than Stadia-Hare method, preferred as chance of operational error are less compared to Stadia-Hare method, preferred as it involves less computations to get reduced distances. Okay, then what is tangential method of tachyometry? Tangential method of tachyometry is a method used in survey. Okay, that we know. And it is used to determine horizontal distances and elevations by using angular measurements. Okay, by using angular measurements. Okay, and we don't need Stadia-Hares. Okay, and if the telescope is not having or the telescope lacks Stadia diaphragm, we can use this tangential method of tachyometry to measure the horizontal and vertical distances. Now we can go to the options. First one, it is faster than Stadia-Hare method. That option is wrong. Okay, because it is generally slower. Okay, slower because it involves taking two angular readings carefully. Okay, so the method will be slower. Next option is slower than Stadia-Hare method. That is correct only. Okay, and this method involves two vertical angle measurements for computing heights and distances trigonometrically, and it is more time consuming than Stadia-Hare method. Okay, and next option B is our answer. Okay. Next option is preferred as chance of operational errors are less compared to Stadia-Hare method. This option is also wrong. Here, this as it involves angular measurements, it can be susceptible to or prone to more number of errors. Okay, and next, preferred as it involves less computation to get reduced distance. That's also wrong. Okay, it involves more calculations. Why? Because it is using trigonometric relations to compute this horizontal and perpendicular distances. So our answer is option B, slower than Stadia-Hare method. The tangential method of tachyometry is slower than Stadia-Hare method. Clear? Next question. Which of the given below branches of surveying is used to measure horizontal and vertical distances without the use of chain and tape? Options are contouring, leveling, tachyometry and traversing. We know that contouring involves plotting the elevation profile of a terrain by connecting points of equal elevation. Okay, we'll get a contour map. While it deals with the vertical data. Okay, and it doesn't eliminate the need of chain or tape, okay, for collecting the horizontal distances. Okay, so in contouring, for collecting horizontal distances we need chain and tape, so contouring is not the answer. Next one is leveling. Leveling, mainly in leveling we mainly determines the height difference or elevation difference between 2 points. Okay, if 2 points are far, we need to find the elevation difference between 2 points using leveling. Okay, so it does not provide any horizontal distances, and we require leveling rods and staffs. Okay, and in cross-sectional leveling and all we need chain and tape to determine the points along a cross section. Okay, so in that also, in profile, in cross sectioning and all, we need the use of chain and tape, so leveling is also not the answer. Next one is tachyometry. This is the answer. In tachyometry we use a theodolite fixed with a stadia here, that is known as tachyometer or tachyometer, to compute both horizontal and vertical distances. We are measuring horizontal and vertical distances using theodolite. So we need angular readings, okay, and staff readings, and we don't need chain or tape here in tachyometry. Okay, so option C is the answer. Next one is traversing. Traversing involves mainly measurement of angles. Okay, and we need to set up the stations and all, and we need to measure the baseline. So we need the chain or tape. Okay, so tachyometry is the answer. What is the reduced level of the submarine surface in terms of adopted data? Options are elevation, reduced sounding, datum, surface, benchmark. Okay, what is reduced level? Reduced level refers to a vertical distance of a point relative to chosen reference or datum. Okay, the vertical difference with respect to the datum is known as reduced level. Okay, and what is elevation? Elevation typically refers to points above datum, right? Not below the water surface. Here they have asked submarine surface. That means the surface we are considering is below the sea level. Okay, below the submarine surface, below the sea level. Okay, so elevation is not the answer. And next one is datum surface. The datum surface is the reference plane itself. Okay, so it does not represent a point above or below. Okay, that is the surface itself. Next one is reduced sounding. That is our answer. Okay, reduced sounding, this term we used if the depth measure, we used to measure the depth below the mean sea level. Okay, and it's a standard value in marine and hydrographic survey. Okay, that's a standard term in marine and hydrographic survey. Okay, and next one is benchmark. What is benchmark? Benchmark is a fixed physical reference point, okay, of known elevation or non-reduced level. Okay, at this one is also not below the water and not below the sea surface. Okay, so that is also a reference point, okay, with the known elevation. So our answer is option C, reduced beer. Next question, which survey is used for the determination of shorelines? Options: theodolite, hydrographic surveying, compass, and topographic surveying. In theodolite surveying, we use theodolite. Okay, it is an instrument used to measure horizontal and vertical angles. Okay, we are using theodolites in various kinds of survey. Okay, but it is not specific to shoreline determination. We can't measure shoreline using theodolite. Next one is compass. Okay, in compass surveys we used to determine the directions using magnetic bearings. Okay, and it is helpful for orientation. Okay, but we can't get the details of shoreline map using compass. Next one is hydrographic survey. That is the correct answer. This survey is specifically conducted to map the underwater features. Okay, and shoreline, adjacent shorelines and all. Okay, we can measure the depth or soundings, and we can define the coastline and water boundaries, and it also helps in nautical charting and port construction also. So our answer is hydrographic survey. Next one is topographic survey. In topographic survey, this captures only natural and man-made features on land. okay, including elevation changes and all. Okay, but it doesn't focus on the shore water interface. So our answer is option C, hydrographic survey. The desirable multiplying and additive constants for a tachyometer is, and in tachyometry using stadia method, the distance between instrument and staff, that is D, is calculated using the equation Ks plus C, where D is the horizontal distance and K is the multiplying constant and C is the additive constant. Okay, and multiplying constant K is ideally 100 and it is derived from telescope's internal focusing arrangement and stadia interval factor. Okay, and additive constant C is the additive constant and it is preferably 0. Okay, a zero additive constant usually simplifies the calculation and reduces the errors from instrument setup. Okay, so K is equal to 100, C is equal to 0. Additive constant is 0 and multiplying constant is 100. So option C is the answer. The length of the long chord of a simple circular curve is. What is long chord? Long chord means distance between point of curve and point of tangency. This is the deflection angle. This total is delta and half of the deflection angle can be taken as delta by 2. If you are taking sine delta by 2, if you are taking sine delta by 2 in terms of long chord, this will be L by 2. Okay, this will be L by 2 and hypotenuse is R, that is L by 2R, that is length of long chord is equal to 2R sine delta by 2. Okay, and if we are taking tan of the deflection angle, half of the deflection angle, tan delta by 2 is equal to, in terms of tangent length we are taking, that is equal to tangent length T divided by this distance. Okay, this one is R cos delta by 2. Okay, this is our radius R. This is R cos delta by 2. And we can write the tangent length T as R cos delta by 2 into tan delta by 2. Tan delta by 2 is nothing but sine delta by 2 by cos delta by 2. So we can write this tan delta by 2 as sine delta by 2 divided by cos delta by 2. This cos delta by 2 got cancels and we will get R sine delta by 2. Then tangent length is equal to R sine delta by 2. So here R sine delta by 2 is there, right? So we can substitute the value of T here in equation 1, that is length of long chord is equal to 2 times, in terms of R sine delta by 2 we can write T, that is length of long chord is equal to twice the tangent length T. Okay, so option D is the answer. Okay, thank you. Subscribe please.